Right, welcome back to another game of Precision Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of this game. We are going to continue our 2003 National League Division Series between the Atlanta Braves and the Chicago Cubs. This will be game number 4. Chicago leads this series 2-1. In real life, I believe it was Atlanta who takes this game, and I believe it was a tie. They tie it up and go back to Atlanta for a game 5. We'll see if that happens in this series. Chicago's up 2-1 after a victory in game number 2. The victory was 6-1 as Mark Pryor went the distance, 9 innings, had 10 strikeouts and 2 walks. So excellent performance from the young pitcher in his first postseason action. In this game, we're going to have Matt Clement for the Cubs, another young right-handed pitcher. And he's going to face Russ Ortiz, who goes for the second time in this series for the Braves. All right, let's get into this. Rafael Furcal will be leading off for the Braves. This is at Wrigley Field. Marcus Giles hitting second, playing second. Chipper Jones is hitting third and playing in left field. Javi Lopez is the catcher. He's hitting in the cleanup spot. Andrew Jones is in center field. He is hitting fifth. Julio Franco, the old man, gets a start here at first base. Vinny Castilla moves up to the 7th spot, and he'll be back, playing third base. And in right field for Sheffield is Darren Bragg, who gets the start in right. Not sure if there was an injury or something going on with Sheffield, maybe just a day off to clear his head. And then Russ Ortiz on the mound, but also pitching, or on the mound and hitting 9th. For the Cubs, it'll be Kenny Lofton in center field leading off. Mark Grudzielanek at second, he's hitting second. Sammy Sosa is in right field hitting third. Moises Alou is in left. He'll be hitting in the cleanup spot. Aramis Ramirez is at third base hitting fifth. Eric Karros gets his second start of the series. He's hitting in the 6th spot. Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop, is in the 7th hole. Paul Bacco gets another start, and he's hitting 8th. And Clement, the pitcher, will be batting 9th. I think we're ready to go in this one. And again, it just requires 3 D10 dice. I'm going to read them red, white, and blue, just like this. And then I use a D20. You could use a couple of D10s if you wanted to. I've gone through and revamped all of the play... I don't remember what I called it. Game sequence plays type things. So these are all the different sequences for the different types of plays. I'm going to make sure that I go through each one and just really hit that pretty hard. Just to make sure, 1, that I'm showing you how to do everything, and 2, that I'm doing all of the different parts. Because sometimes it can be a lot to think about those things. So it's got the pitcher-hitter advantage roll, which is the beginning of each at-bat. And so it just kind of tells you, how to do each of those different parts. And then how to figure out the batter control range. So if it's sort of a 50-50 game engine, then this will be 1 to 10 for the batter, 11 to 20 for the pitcher. That's what we use the D20 for. But because there is advantage or disadvantage built into each of the players head-to-head, now we have to adjust that 1 to 10 for the batter. So this just sort of shows you how to do that. And then as far as a play result roll, so once it comes off of the pitcher card or the batter card, this is where you're looking. So if there's a 3 of a kind on certain plays, we're going to have a highlight play. If it's a 3 of a kind on a single, double, or triple, we're going to perform a range check on the fielder to see if he robs the hit or not. And then it just kind of goes down through there. Perform an error check on the fielder is something I commonly forget to do. So hopefully that'll keep me on pace. And in the game over to the right here, I've got my lead for base runners that get on base and pickoffs and all that kind of stuff. So, and then we have our runner advancement chart for hits to the outfield. This is based off of aggressive, normal, and cautious, which I have all those down here. You'll find those on the manager and tendency, base ranking tendency page. So you can see the manager tendencies here. If you want to try to play the game as Dusty Baker would have played it, or as Bobby Cox would have played it, you can see Cox is just normal, or he's a little bit below average on stealing. He intentionally walks a lot, which I've done quite a bit in this series. He doesn't pinch hit much, but he does pinch run much more than average. And he uses a few more pitchers per game, so he's a little quicker with his hook than other managers. Dusty doesn't do much stealing at all. He sacrifices a lot, and then he doesn't do much of anything else in terms of strategies. So kind of a hands-off manager who's going to let his players go out. He's not doing a lot of in-game strategy kind of stuff. And then we have all of their running tendencies down here as well. And the final pieces are the runner advancement on line drives and fly balls. So anytime there are runners on base and you have a line drive or a fly ball, we use that. We have our play some basic offensive strategies, and then we have all of our highlight plays. You can see, there's a lot of highlight plays here. Those are kind of rare, unusual, uncommon plays you would expect to see on a highlight reel every night. And the last two pieces are the game charts. You can see these are the fielding and a little bit of the fielding and base running, and then this side is sort of specialty fielding, robbing home runs, doing range checks, double plays, etc. And this is our Wrigley Field sheet here. So you're going to get a picture of the ballpark. You'll get all of the wall heights and the wall distances and all that kind of stuff. One day I'm going to work those into the game. And then you get some specialized sorts of, especially in the home run column, but sometimes, the ball goes in and out of the vines. It gets stuck in the vines. That actually happened in game number 3. There was a ground rule double where the ball got stuck in the vines, in the ivy, in the outfield. So those are specific to each ballpark. A lot of the results are just normal, but then there's some that are, if there's some specific ground rules or things like that, then it's specifically for that ballpark. All right, let's get this one started. So this is, and you'll get all this for $12 plus 2003, because the pitchers are also batting in the National League. You're going to get upwards of 2,000 players who are carded for this season. So it's going to be, this is going to be a big set, and all that for $12 is kind of hard to beat. There's a lot of printing, at least, that has to be done the first time. Once you printed things out, you don't really have to. Like, I've been using these same charts for a very long time, so you don't really have to print them out all the time or anything like that. It's just really, everything is a single printout of stuff. But once you print it out, you're going to use some ink. There's quite a bit of color here, which is nice, but trying to help you save a little bit. All right, let's get started with this one. So Matt Clement is going to face off against Rafi Furcal, Marcus Giles, and Chippewa Jones. So against, Furcal is batting left-handed against a right-hander because he's a switch hitter. So Clement against lefties is going to be a -2. Furcal against right-handers is a +6. We add those together, so that's what it tells us here. So the head-to-head is batter adjustment plus pitcher adjustment. So 6 plus a -2 is 6 - 2, which is a 4. And then the batter control max is 10 plus the head-to-head adjustment. So 10 plus 4 is 14. And then the batter control range is 1 to whatever that adjustment we just made was. So 1 to 14 is going to give Rafi Furcal control of the at-bat. Now we've already rolled here, so a 3 falls within the range of 1 to 14. So this will, the result is going to come off of Raphael for Call's card. Now we read this red, white, and blue, so we have a 986, and that's a really good roll. This is probably a home run. As we look at Clement, so Farkall is batting against a right-handed pitcher, so you can see in the red here, red for right, right for red. We're looking at 986, and that falls within the home run range. So we need to roll for the home run. So we need to roll for the home run. It's an 8, and we look at 8 and we go across and we see that the home run is into the basket in left center field. So Raphael Farkall takes a pitch that's running away from him. He rips it into the gap in left center field, and that goes into the basket for a leadoff home run for Raphael Farkall. And Atlanta takes a 1-0 lead. Nice start, young man. All right, Marcus Giles. All right, Giles is 6 minus 2. 6 and minus 2. This time we're looking at the right-handed batter. Clement is the same against both. So another 1 to 14. So this comes off Giles' card. 760 is going to be in his single range. Now when we look at the singles, if there's a 3 of a kind on a single, double, triple, roll for the hit location and do a range check. So there's no 3 of a kind here. 760 is not a 3 of a kind, so we can safely ignore that. And as we go down here for the single, double, or triple, roll the D20 and consult the hit location on the ballpark chart. If there's a range check, perform a range check. Perform an error check on the fielder. There will be a range check. Oh, that goes with this one here. That goes with this. So I guess I could safely remove that. So that'll be a little bit of a redundancy. So there's we're looking at a single, a base hit. That's going to be a ground ball into right center field. So that gets past the second baseman. I always roll to see who picks it up. It's going to be a 1 to 10 will be the center fielder in this case in right center field. 1 to 10 will be the center fielder. 11 to 20 will be the right fielder. So picked up by the center fielder. And any time that the ball is hit to right center field or left center field or down each line, I always look to see, can the runner advance? He's got a +2 because sometimes, you know, you're like hustling out of the box when you hit a ball into the gap. So he's hustling out of the box. It's a center fielder. Let's go ahead and roll for the error, I guess, on the center fielder. Could be a moot point. There's no error on the play. A 624 is too high. Anything 130 and above is going to be no error. So the center fielder is Kenny Lofton. He's a 1. We add the range plus the arm of the fielder. So a 1 plus 0 is 1. Marcus Giles runs. His running speed is a 2. You'll see that on here. His running speed is a 2. And Kenny Lofton's range plus his arm is a 1 plus 0. I just transfer that information here just because if these two guys are not on top of this pile, you got to rifle through them. So Giles' running speed is faster than the outfielder's arm plus range. It's higher. So Kenny Lofton is going to be a +1. If we want to try to push Marcus Giles to second base, there's a one. We'd have to roll a 101 to 210 to throw him out at second. Otherwise, he's going to be safe. So the runner's speed, and it says that here. So find the base runner's run value. If the play result is a hit, then add the fielder's range plus arm values. Compare those two values. If the run value is greater, then resolve the play with an outfield arm chart, which is what I just showed you. If the fielder values are greater, then you resolve it with the base running chart, which is here. And if using the outfield arm chart, roll 3 D10s, cross-reference the roll result with the outfielder's arm value. If using the base running chart, then you do the same thing. If the base runner is safe and the result of the 3 D10 roll is a 3 of a kind, and so like if we rolled off the outfield arm and you had a 3 of a kind on this roll, then there's a chance for a possible error on the throw. So then you roll 3 D10 dice, you perform an error check on the outfielder, and that would give you an error if that happens. So let's go ahead and try to stretch this single into a double. Marcus Giles is going to challenge Kenny Lofton's arm. His arm is a +1. I mean, I'm sorry, his arm is a 0. So his range plus his arm is a 1, but his arm itself is a 0. That's his arm rating. So on a 0, it'll be 101 to 210. That's going to be what he needs to roll in order to get Marcus Giles at second base. It's a 582. You can see here that that's in the red, and the red means safe. So that chart is based off of kill percentage for players who have that rating. So Marcus Giles hits a grounder into the right center field gap. He turns a single into a hustle double, and the Braves are in business against Matt Clement. Brings up Chipper Jones. Jones also batting left-handed. He's going to be same as for call, a 1 to 14. So you can see this comes off Jones's card. A 229 is going to be against a right-hander. Is going to be a fly ball. So when we have a ground ball, fly ball, or line drive, you get the fielder by rolling 3 D10s. Now if this roll is a 3 of a kind, then you need to perform a range check on that fielder. And then we'll see if he makes the catch. So the fielder is 069. We look on our fielding chart here, our player finder. We have a fly ball. 069 falls in the range here for the first baseman. And there's no 3 of a kind, so there's no need to check a range check on there. Now we just roll to see if there's an error on the play. There is no error, 822. Like I said, anything above 130, and there's no need to even check for an error. All errors fall below 130, you can see here. So Chipper pops out to the first baseman. That'll be out number 1. And we got a runner at second base. He's not able to advance the runner. Brings up Javier Lopez. So Lopez is a 5 and a -2, so he's a 1 to 13. So 5 minus 2 is 3. We add 3 to the 10, and it's 1 to 13, 14 to 20, and 18 falls within the pitcher card. 725 against a right-hander falls into his walk range. Forgot to start here. It falls within a walk range. Alright, so we'll figure this out. So we're going to have runners at first and second. So I forgot to do the stamina. So 27 is his starting stamina. 27 is Ortiz. So for each batter faced, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to remove 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for a walk, it's an extra 1 off. So down to 22 is where he is. Alright, so we got a runner at second base. I guess he steals at a 1. So I've forgotten about that part. So let's go ahead and do the getting a lead. So I've got a chart here inside the game guide. So if you're playing solo, you can use the chart below to determine what the lead is. If you're playing head-to-head with someone, you could say, okay, I'm going to take a normal lead, a short lead, or whatever. But if you're playing by yourself, obviously nobody can tell you that kind of stuff. So this is a programmatic way to do it. So this is the runner's steal rating. This is the roll, and then you cross-reference that to see what kind of rating or what kind of lead the base runner got. So the lead base runner is a +1 stealing. So we're looking at this here. Most likely he's going to have a normal lead. 417 falls here, and that's going to be a normal lead. So what does it mean when there's a normal lead? On the page before it tells you. So with the lead type, a short lead is a -1 steal adjustment, and then there's no pickoff. With a normal, there's no adjustment. Everything is just normal with his steal rating. If he gets a big lead, that's a +1 to his steal rating. But if it take a short lead, it lessens his steal rating by 1, and there's no pickoff play for short leads, only for normal and big leads. If you take a normal lead, then there's nothing different. You can perform the pickoff play, but the chance to get the batter out is less. There's less of an opportunity to get a batter out if you pick off, if you try pickoff. But if you take a big lead, that's the riskiest type of lead. It comes with a big reward. You get a +1 on your steal, but the risk is if the pitcher decides to perform a pickoff, then the risk of getting caught is larger. So this is actually fixed, I think, in the charts, but you can see with a normal lead, it's a 1 to 850. There's no pickoff, so only a 15% chance of even having a pickoff play. When there's a big lead, there's a 40% chance that there's a pickoff play. So this is 1 to 600 is no pickoff, 601 to 1000 is a pickoff. So, and then if there were to be a pickoff, then we have two charts here, one for a normal lead and one for a big lead. You reference the pitcher's hold rating. This is called RSB. It's basically the pitcher's part of controlling stolen bases. So the arm rating for catchers, so the throwing rating is RSB for catchers. So it's the catcher's part of throwing out runners. So if it's 1 or greater, then you'll use this chart here. So 31 to 100, about a 7% chance of getting the out. It's about a 2% chance here, and it's less than 1% chance if the pitcher's hold rating is less than 0. It's going to be, that's not a pitcher who does a good job of holding runners on. If there's a big lead, you can see that it's a little bit greater chance. It's about a 10% chance for a good hold rating, and about a 7% chance for the 0. And then, I don't know, what is that? About 2.5% chance for someone with less than 0. So the percentages do go up if you have a big lead and you have a pickoff. So it's I wanted to build some risk and reward into the leads and the base running. So that's kind of where we are with that. So there's a normal lead. Sorry, that's a lot of roundabout, but I play with that sometimes, and I just want to make sure I explain it to everybody. And there's no pickoff attempt on the plate. It has to be an 850, 850 or greater. So there are some kind of rules of thumb that once you learn certain numbers, you can just roll and say, hey, that's not whatever. You don't have to check charts all the time. You'll just kind of get to know the numbers. So we got no pickoff attempt. So base runners both are normal, no addition to their base stealing abilities. Andrew Jones to the plate. And we got a 14. Andrew Jones against right-handed pitching is a +5. Clement against right-handed batting is a 2. So 1 to 13 comes off the batter card. It's a 14, so it's coming off the pitcher card. A 768 is probably going to be good things for Jones. 768 is going to be another walk from Matt Clement. And he has walked the bases loaded with just 1 out. Now, I don't typically steal home, so you do have that option here. There's a stealing home option. I'm not going to do that with Brian Giles. Sorry, Marcus Giles, his little brother. So Andrew Jones takes a walk. And that brings up Julio Franco in a tight spot. Not going to play the infield in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the infield at double play depth. Now, what does that mean? Using different defensive strategies in the game actually it has some teeth. So we got defensive strategies here. If you play the infield in, it tells you what to do. If you guard the lines, then it tells you what it does. It converts some original plays into some other different types of plays. And on the very last page, page 54, you can see that there's double play depth. So you can play the infield at double play depth when you need to try to make a double play easier. So what it does is it gives a +2 rating to the second baseman and the shortstop. So on top of their DP rating or the double play rating, which is going to be, this is range, error, arm / double play. So it's a double play for an infielder. It's an arm rating for an outfielder. So for the second baseman Grudz-Atlantic is going to become a +5 on his double play rating, and Gonzalez becomes a +4. Now you can see what kind of difference that makes. So on a double play, so he goes from a 3 to a 5, so he goes from this column to this column. And he goes from a 2 to a 4, so he makes the same move from this column to this column. So that's going to be a pretty sizable jump here. You're going to get an extra 15% with the opportunity to turn a double play. So there's a little bit of meat on the bone for that, for choosing to do that. So you get a +2 for the second baseman and shortstop. Any ground ball between third and short or second and first is going to automatically turn into a single. So if that's usually in the highlight plays. If there's a play that says, hey, does he get to the ball? It goes between first and second base. It automatically becomes a hit, because what you're doing is you're pushing the infielders closer to the bag at second base. So you're creating a bigger hole between first and second and third and short. And then any ground ball single up the middle becomes a ground ball play result. It becomes a ground ball that can be caught and played just like a ground ball play result. So that's any ball hit to center field, left center, or right center field. So because the players are playing closer there, any ball hit up the middle that would normally be a single is going to get picked up for a catch. So that's playing a double play depth. So that's what we're going to do. And they'll trade, well, they won't have to trade an out for a run here. But if it's a fielder's choice, then that's what they're going to have to do. So Julio Franco to the plate. Franco is a -1 against righties. Clement is a -2. So we add those, it becomes -3. 10 minus 3 is 7. So Julio Franco will be a 1 to 7 to control the at-bat. It's a 19. That's off Clement's card. Clement is going to get what we want. It's a 0.32. That's a ground ball. You can see here against a righty, 1 to 266 is going to be a ground ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 minus 2. Minus 2. No. So 5 batters and then 2 walks. So he's at at a 20. Okay, 0-32 is a ground ball. And now we got to see where that ground ball goes. The ground ball goes to 386. So when we check our chart here, we can see that the ground ball goes to second base. So this is exactly what we want. And on a ground ball, fly ball, or line drive, again, if the fielder roll, if that roll right there was a 3 of a kind, we'd need to perform a range check to see if the fielder got to it. But otherwise, the next step is to do a check to make sure that he caught the ball. So we do an error check. Now that we know it's the second baseman, Gruz Atlantic, his error rating is a +1. So he only makes an error on a 14-21. So no error on the play. And he makes the catch. And then once we have runners on base, we need to consult our ground balls. And if we're playing normal depth, then we have that for all of the different infield positions. And then if you're playing ground balls, you're playing infield in, you would use this chart here for infield in. As it is, we got a ground ball to second base. We have bases loaded. So this is the column that we're looking at for the second baseman. We need to roll here to see what happens on the play. And we have a 990. Could be a crazy play. So 990 falls in our last one here. Look at that. That's going to be an all safe. So it's an infield hit. Oh my gosh. So that's going to be an infield single. That's going to score a run. And so he gets an RBI. Everybody moves up and no out is recorded for the infield single. So Julio Franco gets on via the infield single. The Braves take a 2-0 lead here in the top of the first. And Vinny Castilla comes to the plate. Still playing at double play depth. So same rules still apply. This is a 1, so that's going to come off of Castilla's card. Usually a 1 comes off the batter, a 20, you can just assume comes off the pitcher card. And 831 is really good. So against a right-hander, 831 is going to be a single. And we need to look and see where does that single go. It goes to 3. That's a ground ball down the left field line. It gets past the third baseman. That's going to score this run. So Vinny Castilla runs at a +1. So we don't know what we're going to do here yet. So that's going to be a single. This runner moves up. Andrew Jones runs at a -2. Now when there's a hit with runners on base, we look at our runner advancement on hits to the outfield. So we have a ground ball down the left field line. It's picked up by the left fielder. We have a runner who's going from second to home. Andrew Jones, he's a -2 runner. This is where we check our second to home. They're aggressive. So we're looking at this chart here, second to home and aggressive. Andrew Jones is a -2, so he falls in this -1 to -5 category. And then we look at left field line. So that's a question mark, and a question mark here says check to see if the runner advances. Now, the way we check on runner advancement is the way that we did it before with Marcus Giles. So on a ground ball hit to left field, we're looking at the left fielder, Moises Alou. And again, we do taking extra bases. That's exactly what we did before. So we're looking at his the outfielder's range and arm ratings. So -2 plus -2 is -4. Andrew Jones runs at a -2, and so we're going to go ahead and send him, especially since Atlanta is aggressive going second to home. We're going to force the issue. And because Andrew Jones -2 is higher than Alou's -4, it puts the onus on the outfielder to throw him out using the outfield arm chart. So in essence, the runner has the advantage. So we have to use the chart that gives the fielder the least advantage, the most disadvantage. And that'll be the outfield arm chart. So Alou is a -2. Here, the only part where he throws them out is 31 to 100. So that's what he has to roll in order to get Andrew Jones at the plate. Now we have a choice to make. That's not very good. That's not a very good opportunity. And if we throw home, Franco is a -1 and Castilla is a +1. So something to think about while you're kind of slowing this down. Think of it like the bullet time in the Matrix. Like it's action is happening, but it's happening very slowly. You can think through it, and you're kind of watching it happen in super duper slow motion. So we have a runner here, and you can make some of these decisions. If you're playing head to head, you can put a time limit on the decisions if you wanted to. If you're playing by yourself, you can really just like dig in and look at what's going on here. I'm explaining this like really thoroughly because I don't do that very often. Sometimes, most of the time I just play. But after this first inning, I'm not going to be so thorough with everything. So Andrew Jones is coming around second. It's a very bad opportunity. It's only about a 7% chance. So 31 to 100 is about a 7% chance on a scale of 1,000 to throw him out. So that's not a very good opportunity. Now our trail runner advancement is aggressive for the Braves. And we look down here at the trail runners, and this is the green is aggressive. So for a -1, Julio Franco is a -1. 1 to -1 is going to be, if they throw the ball home, he's going to advance. So this is on a throw to home or third base. On a throw to home, that runner is going to advance. The other trail runner is Vinny Castilla. He's a 1, and he's definitely going to advance. So if we throw home, we have a tiny percentage, a tiny percent opportunity to get the runner at home. We have 2 trail runners here who are going to advance if we throw the ball all the way through to home plate. So what you can do instead is you can say, I'm going to throw it to the cutoff man. Or you can say, I'll cut off the throw to home. And these 2 runners have to hold. Or you can say, I'm going to throw to second. I'm going to throw the ball to behind the runners, or to third base, basically. I'm going to throw behind the runner who's going home. So however you want to think about it, however you want to like play it out in your mind, the ball's either cut off on its way to home, or you just, Alou just raises up, he throws it to third base, and the runner is going to be able to score. But what it's going to do is going to keep these 2 runners at first and second base, so they are not allowed to advance to second and third. But if you throw through to home, it doesn't matter if the play is safe or out at home, you're going to have runners at second and third base. So thinking about these situations as you go through them, there's a provision for keeping the trail runners from moving up. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to give Andrew Jones, he's going to go home. He's being aggressive. He's pushing the envelope. So he's going to score. And that's going to be a 2 RBI double, or 2 RBI single for Vinny Castilla, who knocks in 2 runs. And what it's going to do is it's going to hold here. We preserve the double play, but a run scores automatically because you're not throwing through to home plate. So that's one of those situations where you're kind of thinking about more than just, what is it? You're thinking about more than just what's going on to get the guy, because the trail runners are going to advance. So, all right. It's a lot. It's a lot going on in this game, but it's super realistic, I think, because you're having to make choices not only as a player, not only as a manager, but also there are choices to be made on the base paths as well as a first or third base coach. So there's lots of different angles for this game that you can come at. Okay, Matt Clement, he's struggling. He's facing Darian Bragg. We got the infield at double play depth again. Bragg against a right-hander is -1. Clement is a -2, so he's a 1-7 to control. This comes off of the pitcher card. Again, the rolls are just so high for Matt Clement. I'm sorry, buddy. 878. If you look at a left-hander, so 782 to 1,000 is going to be a hit off of Matt Clement's card. So he leaves the ball out over the plate. And when it's a hit off the pitcher card, roll 3 D10s and check the batter card for the type of hit. Roll the D20, consult the locations chart or the ballpark sheet. Perform an error check on the fielder, and if there are runners on base, then check the hits, runner advancement with hits to the outfield. That's this one here. So I like to just roll all of these together again because we're going to need them all. It's a guaranteed hit of some sort. It's a 208, and we look here. So the hit comes off of this card, so we go over to the batter card, and you look in this section here, not in this one here. But you look here in these small little boxes, you can see that the single goes all the way across, double, triple, home run. And so against right-handed pitching, and this is based off of, out of all of his hits, what percentage of his hits are singles, doubles, triples, home runs. So you're kind of looking at, it's an inception kind of thing. So we have a 208 against right-handed pitching. Is a 1 to 880 is going to be a single. So most of his hits are singles. So that's what it's telling us, basically. 88% of his hits are going to be singles. So a 208, that's going to be a single. And our location is 5. So we look at our single and 5. That's a line drive to left field. So he hits it on the line, right to the left fielder. What that's going to do is push all the runners up. And that's going to be a single for him. Now we can try to run if we want to. Franco is a -1. Franco is a -1. Our left fielder, so when it's hit right to the outfielder, I don't do the range. I usually just do the arm rating, because he doesn't have to go left or right or forward or backward. It just goes right to him. So his outfield arm is going to be a -2. They're aggressive, and so we're going to go ahead and send them around third. I don't remember who the third base coach was. Maybe it's Snicker. I don't remember. But we're sending them home, and Julio Franco runs at a -1, but the outfield arm of Alou is not good, so we're going to run on that arm. It's going to be a 31 to 100. Now everything changes on the trail runners, so we thought about that before. Trail runners are aggressive. And Vinny Castilla is going to move up on a throw to home. Darren Bragg is going to advance on a throw to home as well. So what we can do is just hold up again, and we'll try to preserve that double play possibility. So we'll just say we're going to throw to the cutoff man. That's another single and another run scored. And now we got the pitcher coming up. So we keep those trail runners from moving up by throwing to the cutoff man, but it does allow the run to score. It's now 5-0 Atlanta, and this has turned into a disastrous first inning. But not for me as a teacher. There's lots of good things going on here. All right, so this comes off of Clement's card. They finally get what they need. A 117 is against a right-handed batter is going to be a ground ball. Again, we're playing at double play depth because we have a double play situation. We have a 418. So that ground ball is going to go to the second baseman, I believe. Yep. And we'll see if there's an error. There's no error on the play. So it's a real thinking man's game. If you're looking for just sort of a quick hitting baseball game, this is not the one for you. Hit to the second baseman. Runners at first and second. That's what we're looking at. we've got a 778. So 778, a 4-6 double play question mark. Now what's in parentheses is if there are 2 outs, that's what you use. But we have a 4-6 double play with a question mark. And you can see that there's another one, 4-6 GIDP, and I'll tell you what that means. So this explains who you look at to figure out if there was a double play. DP means you're looking at the fielder, and GIDP, you're looking at the batter and his ability to ground into double plays. So remember, we have a +2 on our fielder DP rating for the second and the third base, or the shortstop, second base and shortstop. So we look at Atlantic. He's the one that we hit the ball to. He's got a +3 DP rating. And when it says 4-6 DP, that means we're looking at this DP chart. If it had said GIDP, you would look at this chart. As it is, we're looking at this chart. And remember, our guy goes from 3 to 5. So we'll be looking at this column here. So a 211 to a 710, they're going to turn the double play and get out of the inning. Anything less than that or greater than that, and they won't. A 105 is just into the red, and that means it's a fielder's choice, FC. So even with the double play, playing a double play, and you get the advantage, they still couldn't turn the double play. So the out is going to be recorded at second base with a fielder's choice. That's out number 2. The player at second is moving to third on the fielder's choice. And Russ Ortiz is going to be at first with a 4-6 fielder's choice. So Clement gets the ball that he needs. Maybe it was a little bit hit a little too slowly to turn 2. Either way, it's going to bring Furcal back to the plate. He homered at the top of this inning, actually. He may do it again. A 7 again against lefties, he's a +2. Against righties, he's a -2 and +6. So 1 to 14 to Furcal. And an 877 to a left-handed batter, to a right-handed pitcher. 877 is going to be a single. So we have a single off of for Furcal. That's going to be a blooper down the left field line that falls for a hit. That's going to score this run from third for sure. As he comes home, he's going to go to second base. And Furcal normally might try to turn that into a double, but we'll see if he gets the opportunity as a trail runner. So actually, there's no throw anywhere. So Ortiz is going to wind up at second base. So it's a RBI single. And they're just, death by 1,000 cuts here for the Cubs. I'm sorry, Cub fans. The reality is the Braves did take this to a Game 5, so this is not totally shocking. But it's now 6-0 Atlanta in the first. Reminds me of the Cardinals game against the Braves in like 2005, 6, 7, something like that, where they just came out and it wasn't that. It was like way later, 2018, 19, something like that. Just, it was bad. Anyway, Marcus Giles to the plate. Giles is a +6. Clement is a -2. So 1 to 14. This comes off of Giles's card. A 344. Ooh, almost a highlight play. A 344 against a righty is going to be a fly ball. So we haven't had a fly ball, but you do it just like you. Oh yeah, we had the pop up, right? 145. That's going to go to the second baseman. So another pop up as it gets into Giles's kitchen. It's a 914, which is no error on the play. And because it's the third out of the inning, there's no need to check for any runner advancement or anything like that. That's the third out, mercifully. The third out, but Atlanta puts up 6 in the first inning. And just to a forgettable first inning for Matt Clement. All right, I'm going to pick up the pace just a little bit as the Cubs get their first crack at Russ Ortiz. It's no guarantee that Ortiz is going to hold this lead, so we'll see what he does. Lofton is a lefty. He's a +2 against righties. Ortiz is a +1 against lefties. So Lofton will be a 1 to 13. So you add that 3 to the 10. And he's a 1 to 13 to control. It's 16, so this is off of Ortiz's card. A 125 is going to be a ground ball. That ground ball goes to second base. Possible error on the play. The second baseman is Giles. He's a -1 for his error rating. He makes an error on an 84 to a 129. No, that's not right. He makes an error on a 33 to 83, but we have a 021, so no error on the play. As he makes a low throw to first, but scooped out by the first baseman. And they get Kenny Lofton at first. Grudzelanic to the plate. Grudzelanic against righties is a +4. So overall he's a 1 to 12 to control. So 594 against a right-hander is into his strikeout range. Doesn't strike out a lot. Just a 12% K rate. But he strikes out here against Russ Ortiz. Now on a strikeout, you take away 1 on the stamina for the batter, but then you get a +1 for the strikeout. And if you ever need a refresher, those are listed under here about where you take 1 away and where you don't. So basically on a strikeout, you're going to leave the stamina there. You could do the physical move if you want, but it's going to result in a 0. No movement. Sammy Sosa to the plate. Sosa's going to be a 1 to 11 to control, so that's off his card. 269 against a righty is going to be a fly ball. That fly ball goes to center field. Possible error on Andrew Jones in center field. Jones is a 0. And an error on a 22 to 32. We have a 020 and a rare error on Andrew Jones, who makes an error in center field. That's going to allow the runner to first base. Moises Alou to the plate. Alou is going to be a 1 to 14 for control. 028 is a ground ball. That grounder goes to second base, and it's handled at second base by Giles. So anytime there's a ground ball and it's caught and there's runners on base, you want to use this chart here. So we got a runner at first, it's hit to second base, so we're in this column. And 885, we look at the parentheses because we have 2 outs, so a 4-3 put out. Those are in there because there are, like, sometimes, like on a play like this, he would go 4-6 on the put out. So if you care about that, or if you want to randomize that. If you don't care, you could just always add a 4-3 with 2 outs. But it's not always a 4-3 put out. All right, so that's going to do the Cubs in the first inning. They're down 6 runs as we go to the top of the second. It'll be Chipper Jones, Javi Lopez, and Andrew Jones. Matt Clement looking for a little better inning here as he faces Chipper. Chipper's a lefty batter, so Chipper's a 1 to 14 for control. A 228 is going to be a fly ball. And that fly ball goes to the shortstop. And the shortstop, Gonzalez, is there to make the catch, so we'll go P6 on the put out. And it brings up Javi Lopez. This comes off Clement's card, but it is a high roll, 812. 812 you can see here against a right-handed batter is a hit by pitch, as Clement comes in too hard and hits Javi Lopez, who goes down to first base. Brings up Andrew Jones. Lopez is a 0 on his stealing, so let's check his lead. The lead is normal. The pickoff attempt, no pickoff attempt. So Andrew Jones, he walked and scored in his last at-bat. He's going to get control of this one. 679 though against a right-hander is going to be another walk, as Jones takes a free base. So we got runners at first and second now with 1 out. 9:51. It's going to be a normal lead for Javi. And no pickoff attempt at second. We're going to play the infield at double play depth again. We got Julio Franco to the plate. Franco is a 1-7 for control. That's a 9. So this comes off of Clement's card. 349 is going to be a fly ball. Fly ball. That is going to be a pop-up to the catcher. And the catcher is going to make the play. So we'll say P2. There's no runner advancement on a pop-up. In fact, I may have called the infield fly rule on that. Benny Castillo to the plate. 2 down and 2 on. This is off Clement's card. 364 is going to be another fly ball. That's another pop-up to the third baseman. Opportunity for an error here is 0.43. It's definitely less than 130. So pop-up to the third baseman. His error rating is a -2. And an 84 to 129 is an error, so no error on the play. As we get a pop-up behind third base, just in fair territory, and Aramis Ramirez squeezes it for the out. So Clement comes back with a scoreless inning in the top of the second. And Ramirez, who made the third out, is going to lead off the bottom half of the inning. This could be good things for him. He is going to be even Steven with Russ Ortiz. So he's a +2. Ortiz is a -2 against righties. So that makes a 1-10, 11-20. So this comes off Ramirez's card. A 900 against a righty is going to be a base hit. And that will be a line drive into right field for a single, solid single for Aramis Ramirez. Let's see if there's an error on the catch. There's not. So the right fielder is Darren Bragg. He picks it up and gets it back in. And Ramirez is on with the leadoff single. Brings Eric Karros to the plate. Karros in game 1 had a big 3-run jack. Let's see what he does here. 520. Sorry, my cup is in the way. 520 is, what is Ramirez? He runs it or steals it a 0. So he's got a normal lead, and there's no pickoff attempt. So this comes off Karros' card, a 299. It's going to be a fly ball. The fly ball goes out to Chipper Jones in left field. Another error opportunity. So lots of tough plays in the outfield here. Maybe the wind is swirling at Wrigley. 0-15. Chipper is a -1. And that's an error on a 33 to 83. So no error on the plays. He makes the catch in left. And because there's a runner on base, we need to check and see if there's any runner advancement or what we're doing with runner advancement. So you can see here in left field, there's an opportunity for runners to have to advance. So when there's that, I usually just roll for it. So runner at first, 806, that's in the red. That means don't go. The runner has to hold. And so we got one out now with Alex Gonzalez coming to the plate. And this will be his first at bat. So Alex Gonzalez, we're going to play a double play depth with that runner at first base. Let's go ahead and do our lead here. 379. That's a normal lead with no pickoff attempt. Alex Gonzalez is not going to control. This goes off the pitcher card. 291 against a righty is a fly ball. That's another fly ball to left, and Chipper is under it. Let's see if there's any advancement. A 0-12. So this is, I guess, a deep fly ball. You can see here, 1 to 30, and it's green. Green means that the base runner is going. So we have to roll against that to see if he gets to second base. So maybe it's a really deep fly ball to left field, and Ramirez thinks he can make it to second base. He runs at a -1. Chipper throws at a -1. His arm is a -1. When things are equal, the onus is on the base runner because he's the one who's pushing the envelope. So Aramis Ramirez is a -1. We're looking in this column here, a 1 to -1. .321. 321 is in the green. That means that he is safe, just in there ahead of the tag. And Aramis Ramirez makes his way up. On the fly ball, and he's in scoring position, so it was definitely worth it. Paul Bacco to the plate. Let's check Ramirez. Ramirez steals at a 0. A 437 is a normal lead. A 984. That's going to be a pickoff attempt. Anything greater than 850 is going to be a pickoff attempt. So now we can see on our pickoff plays. So we got a runner at second base, normal lead, and he's going to try a pickoff attempt. Russ Ortiz is a -2, so he's over here in this column. It has to be a 1 to 30, so pretty small chance, 3% chance of getting him. 622 is not going to be a pickoff, so the pickoff attempt, he's back to second safely. It's pretty rare to pick somebody off at second. So Paul Bacco. -1 against righties, -2, that's a -3. So 1 to 7 for Paul Bacco. 669, almost 3 of a kind. So 669 against a lefty. So we look in the left-hand column for the pitcher. 669 is going to be a walk, as Ortiz gives up a 2-out walk. Maybe not the worst thing in front of the pitcher, which is Matt Clement coming up for his first at-bat. So again, we'll check the lead. 028, that's going to be a big lead. And so when we roll here, there's no pickoff attempt, but we got a big lead. So it would be possible to steal third if you wanted to, or to do a double steal. Not going to do that, as Russ Ortiz comes to the plate, and what do we got? We got a 17. So Clement is 1 to 6 for control. So this comes out the pitcher card. A 489 against a righty is going to be a line drive, so the batter gets a hold of it. That goes to the shortstop. And the play is going to be made at short by Rafi for call. With 2 outs, that's going to be no need to check anything. So Clement hits it hard, but he hits it right at for call. And that's going to be the third out of the inning as the Cubs threaten. With 2 on, they can't get them home. And we head to the top of the third. It's Darren, Bragg, Ortiz, and for call. So Darren Bragg is going to be a 1-7 for control. 725 off Bragg's card. Against a righty is going to be a strikeout. So it's got kind of a high strikeout rating. That'll be out number 1. As Clement gets just his first strikeout of the game. He's got an average strikeout percentage, 20%. He faces off against the pitcher Ortiz. Ortiz a 1-7. Ortiz actually a decent hitter. He's about a 260 hitter or so. 275. And a 263 off of the hitter card is going to be a fly ball. It goes out to center field, and the catch is made by Kenny Lofton. Couple of quick outs in this inning for Clement. Let's see if he can get through the third with no more damage. Right to ship a little bit. For call is 2 for 2 with a home run and a single. He's got 2 RBIs and a run scored. This comes off of Clement's card. A 729 against a lefty is going to be another walk. So 4th walk of the game for Matt Clement, who has an 11% walk percentage against lefties. For call steals at a 4. So let's check out his lead. A 131. And it's going to be a normal lead. Ooh, 845, almost a pickoff attempt. Now he steals at a 4. When we look at steals, stealing bases, if there's no pickoff attempt and the base runner's lead is big, then you adjust the steal rating by 1, which is not us. We need to figure the battery value, the pitcher's hold value, and the catcher's throw value. So his hold is a +1, and the catcher, his throwing is a +1. So that's a +2. The final steal value is going to be the base runner steal value minus that +2 that we just said. So his steal value is 4 minus a +2 is 4 minus 2. And so his final stealing value is a 4. I mean, his final steal value is a 2. So because of the pitcher and the catcher battery together, he goes from this column to this column, stealing second base. So that's still a pretty good percentage. Let's go ahead and try that. With a normal lead, he's going to try to steal second base. Let's take a look at what we got. Now this is almost a 3 of a kind. If it were a 3 of a kind, if the base runner is safe and the roll is a 3 of a kind, roll for a catcher error on the throw. And that would allow him to advance 1 more base if there was an error. But 545 is here. That's sort of the meaty middle. That's right into the green. Green means safe. And Rafi for call steals second base to get himself into scoring position with 2 outs. So Giles to the plate with the man in scoring position. Opportunity to knock in a run. You can look and see a couple of things. You can see how many stolen base attempts. I don't see that very well, but you can see how many stolen base attempts that they have against each right-hander or left-hander. And so you kind of get a sense. He had 27 stolen base attempts. So you can say, you know, he runs quite a bit. But some players don't run very much. So not as much. You can also look at the You can also look at the manager tendencies for stolen bases, stealing second and third. And you can go by those if you want to. Bobby Cox is a little bit under, but that's because most of his guys don't steal second very well. 7 for Giles. Against a righty, he's a 1-14 for control. So 543 is into the strikeout range, and that's going to be the third out of the inning, as Matt Clement strikes out Giles to end the threat, and the Braves don't score in the third. That's a couple of innings now that they haven't scored, but they're still up 6-0 as Ortiz has started the game well. Back to the order, top of the order with Lofton, Grudzelanic, and Sosa. We have Ortiz against a lefty as a +1 and a +2, so 1-13. A 941, that's a good result for Kenny Lofton. 941 will be a double. So we roll for the double. An 18 says it's in and out of the vines, so it's up against the wall. It hits the vines, it comes out, and Kenny Lofton cruises into second base with a double. Let's see if there's an error out there. No error in the outfield. And so Kenny Lofton aboard with a leadoff double. Got Grudzelanic to the plate. Grudzelanic, a right-handed batter, so he's a 1-12, 394. Is a fly ball. That fly ball goes to 334. It's a fly ball out to left for Chipper. Chipper makes the catch. Now we look at our fly ball with runner advancement. You can see with the runner at second base, there's a chance that there's some advancement in left field. So, 789 is here. That's going to be my choice. Now Chipper throws at a -1. Lofton runs at a +3, so this is going to be all on Chipper Jones, as that's a deep fly ball out to left field. Lofton's going to try to get himself into scoring position, and Chipper's going to have to throw him out. That's going to be here in this column, so 31 to 100, and that's not even close. So Lofton is able to move up on the deep fly out to left. So, with one out, Sammy Sosa bats with a man at third base. This comes off Sosa's card. 206 against a righty is another fly ball. This is going to go, it's a pop-up to second base. Possible error. Second baseman is Giles. He's a -1. And a 33 to 83, and we have a 038, so that's going to be an error, as Giles can't handle the pop-up, and we'll call that E4. Coming home to score on the error is going to be Lofton, and that's an unearned run, no RBI given, but the Cubs do get on the board, as Giles goes out to catch that pop-up, but he can't get it. And Sosa's going to be at first base. He steals at a -1, so 746. That's going to be a normal lead with no pickoff. And Moises Alou to the plate. Off of Alou's card, 846 is a single. That's going to be a ground ball into left center field. Picked up by the left fielder Jones. It's going to push the runner here, Sosa. Chicago goes first to third, cautious. So first to third, cautious. Sammy runs at a -1. We'll call him here. Left center field, that's going to be a hold either way. So he's going to hold up at second base, and that's going to be a 1-out single for Moises Alou. And the Cubs are threatening. We're going to play double play depth. Probably should have done that on the first one. Aramis Ramirez is even Steven with Rich Ortiz. So 1 to 10 is for Ramirez. It's off his card. 138 is going to be a ground ball. That goes to the pitcher. And no error on the play. Pitchers are rated, by the way, for errors. You can see here he's a 2. So the pitcher makes the catch, and we do have a pitcher. We have a pitcher thing here, 295, with runners at first and second. That says 1-4 GIDP ? So he's going to turn and make the throw to second base, to the second baseman. So we're going to get this out right here. That'll be out number 2. And let's see if they turn 2. We're looking at the grounded into double play rating for Aramis Ramirez, which is a 0. So it's all based off of the runner at this time. And we look up here, a 0 is here, so he's going to be safe, or it's a double play. Sorry, the green is double play. It's a 0-16, and there is no double play, so that's only a fielder's choice, which means this runner is going to go to third, and Ramirez is going to be here on a 1-4 fielder's choice. That brings up Eric Karros to the plate. It'd help if we rolled them all, wouldn't it? Let's check the lead at first base. Ramirez runs at a 0. So normal lead at first. No pickoff. And Eric Karros to the plate. Karros is a 1 to 9 for controls. It's off the pitcher. 439 against a righty is a line drive. That's a liner to left that Chipper catches, and that is going to be out number 3. So the Cubs threaten for more, but they do get on the board with 1 run in the bottom of the 3rd. Let's check my time here. And I think I'm going to have to get moving here. So I'm going to switch this over, and I'm going to take a picture of this, and I will replay the rest of this game. It took a long time at the beginning to just sort of walk through everything again. These are going to be updated where you can see, you know, it kind of takes you step by step through how to do everything. I didn't really go through the double plays, but they're all here as well. And if there's a double play on a line drive, I don't think there was anything, maybe tagging up, but I did that too. So I think I did almost everything you could do in the game. So very, very good first inning there as the Braves cooperated. They score 6. They're up 6-1 going to the top of the 4th. Clement's still in the game. His stamina is at a 5, and so still the ability to hang in there. He might even get through 5 innings. We'll see. All right, if you want to purchase this game, this season is not quite ready yet, but although I did finish all the ballparks, and I finished the game sequences chart. I'm just going to go through. I finished the managers, so I think most of the things are done. I just want to double check the cards and stuff like that. And so the season is almost finished. I'll release it and tell you whenever it's released. But right now you can purchase 2023, which is the first season last year. And you can go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and pick up that season. Like I said, it's $12. Super cheap price, but you get a lot. You got a lot of baseball. So it's going to take you a while. If you want to do a season replay, it's going to take you a while to get through it. But there's a lot of meat on the bone with this game. There's a lot of detail. There's a lot of interesting things that are going on. Interesting parts of, like I said, your batting, your pitching. You're making decisions on defense. You're making decisions as a base running coach. You're making decisions as a manager. There's lots of different things that you can do here, and you can find ways to automate that if you want to, or whatever. And there's quite a bit of automation here with these charts. Like these charts here, you know, are basically kind of just telling you what's going to happen or what to do. You don't have to run when it's a question mark. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And so that could slow things down a little bit if you did every question mark like I did, excuse me. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section. Otherwise, go out and purchase this game. It doesn't cost a lot. Give it a try and let me know what you think about the game. It's one of those games that it's cheap enough that you don't necessarily need a demo. $12 is not a lot. And you'll get a PDF of all of the files that you need to play. You don't have to download anything extra. You'll just get everything, including 2023 has something like almost 1,500 player cards. So there's a lot of players. You probably won't use all of them, but if you do an as-played replay, you'll probably use most of them, or at least have access to them if you want. And you'll have everything you need. The game guide is very detailed. It's over 50 pages. Don't worry about it. You can print front and back, so it's 25 pages of actual paper or so, but it's really detailed as far as like going through everything. It also gives you a little bit of background of here's some just general baseball tips about when you might use a strategy or whatever, but then there's also some of the thinking that I put into the game behind each of the mechanics. This is what I was thinking. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to describe. That type of thing. So I think it'll be really good. I think there's one thing I've needed to add, one section I needed to add for that, but that someone pointed out. So the game is very close for 2003, and otherwise it's ready to go for 2023. And if you want to watch more games, you can go back. There's a playlist here with lots of different games. You can see the evolution of this game. I've been pretty open and honest about how it started, and it's been like a 2-year process of creating the game. And so you can see how it's evolved over the years from the very first concept to where it is today, and how it's grown. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click subscribe. Both of those are easy ways to support what I'm doing here. Purchasing a game is a good way to support, and if you want to share this video or just share about this game with your community, that's super helpful in helping to spread the word about this game. That's usually how these things get spread, is people who care, you know, telling other people about something. And so happy to answer your questions or whatever. If you need to send an email, send it to clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com. You can also go to the website and click on contact, and you can go to the contact form and send me an email that way as well. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.